Okay, so this is going to be another reading for Sagittarius, and I already pulled the tarot cards and the oracle cards, so we're just going to jump in here. Um, the overall energy for the reading is the Seven of Wands, so I'm seeing that there is something that may feel like a blockage to you, and the oracle cards that we pulled are Suppression, the Outsider, and Patience. So the outsider came up in another reading for you recently, Sagittarius, and I'm seeing that there's something here that you could want, that you could be very much working towards, a desire that you're working towards, and it could feel like you're on the outside looking in, or you're holding yourself back, or you're having to hold yourself back, or something's holding you back from really pursuing this in the way that you would like to, and for whatever reason it's taking a certain amount of patience, or maybe spirit's asking you to have patience through this process, because whatever this is, it's looking like it's not coming through necessarily on the timeline that you would hope for it to, or something like that. In the recent past, we have the Nine of Swords, the Temperance card, and the Hanged Man. So I'm seeing that there was something here that really stressed you out about this, but you kind of balanced out that energy, and maybe you even had a perspective shift that kind of helped alleviate some of the stress of this. But let's take a look at what it was that you were stressing out about there with the Nine of Swords. This could be just stressing out about not being able to achieve this on the timeline, feeling a little bit held back from it, whatever it is. It's almost like whatever you were desiring here is on one side of a veil, and you're on the other side of the veil, kind of like observing it and like wanting to work towards it, but feeling like maybe there was something keeping you from working towards it, whatever that was. So let's take a look at this Nine of Swords for you. This could have been something that kept you up at night. I'm getting really drawn to the blanket on this card. Maybe you like felt the need to like calm yourself down by like burying yourself under some blankets or something. I don't know. Let's take a look at that Nine of Swords. Eight of Pentacles again, Five of Pentacles, the Empress. There's this feeling of like it was really hard to meet your own standards on this for whatever reason. It was like, am I going to be good enough, not just for everybody else, but for myself? Am I going to be able to achieve what I want to achieve here? And am I going to be able to do it up to my own standards and in the way that I like to do it? And it's almost coming through as like maybe like unintentionally like self-imposed stress of like, I'm doing this, but I'm not doing it good enough for how I want it to be done, or something like that. But I'm seeing that you like kind of like you may have spiraled in that energy a little bit, but then eventually you leveled it out with the Temperance card. Let's take a look at Temperance. Ten of Pentacles, Death, King of Pentacles. Yeah, it's this energy where you kind of swooped in on your own energy and said, hang on, like, we don't need to feel that way. That's not going to help us build what we want to build here. So let's just kind of stop engaging in that sort of way. And maybe this had to do with something very physical in your life, or maybe you just have a lot of earth in your chart with the Ten of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles. But there was this feeling of, okay, like, that way of approaching this is not working for me, so let me kind of heal myself by approaching this in a different way. It's interesting. It's like this almost like this conversation that you had with yourself about like, you know, you don't need to be so stressed out, so let's just not be so stressed out. And it's almost like as soon as you did that, you launched yourself towards like a whole other level of security. But also for some of you, maybe this fear that came up was just illuminating a fear around like not having everything that you needed, and this was part of you just healing your attachment to security, or to like stability, or the idea of stability, or having the stability that you are aiming for, or something like that. But it's looking like you had some type of realization around this. So let's take a look at that with the Hanged Man. The Fool, the Sun, The Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, it's like you started to think to yourself, uh, how can I make this easier on myself? Like, how can I make myself happy, and how can I make myself feel free? Because whatever you were getting wrapped up in before, it wasn't an energy that was particularly freeing for you. And it's almost like you took the reins and you were like, let's not go in that direction of anxiety and like needing to be good enough and working yourself to death and it never being enough. Like, let's just totally veer this in another direction, and it's a much more positive direction. It's much more freeing, it's a lot lighter, and you're starting to think about all the things that are possible for you rather than all the things that aren't possible for you. And it's like as soon as you do that, your energy just brightens up in this beautiful way. With the Sun card, the Queen of Cups, and the Knight of Wands in your current energy, you're in the middle of this reading as the Queen of Cups, which is a very heart-centered, like very beautiful, loving, maternal energy. And even if you're a man listening to this, like you can still very much embody the Queen of Cups. And I would actually say if you are a more masculine energy embodying the Queen of Cups, like that's a beautiful thing because we need some of that like softer, more maternal energy to kind of be in the world, and especially to be expressed by masculine people. But no matter your gender, Queen of Cups is a beautiful energy to embody. And it's a very healed energy. Spirit keeps showing me the Temperance card, so you've done a lot of healing, and that's something you should be very proud of. And it's really showing up in your energy in this very like loving and happy way. And I keep getting goosebumps, which means that Spirit is here with us today. And Spirit is always with me in my readings, but especially right now, I feel like there's it's almost like you're being embraced by Spirit, and Spirit wants to kind of pat you on the back and say like, well done. Like you could have gone into a kind of hole in your head there, but you actually kind of turn the energy around, and it really shows in your energy. And it's an energy of happiness, clarity, and the love and the happiness and the softness that you're embodying. It actually enables you to move forward very decisively with the Knight of Wands and to really charge ahead. And it's like maybe you were feeling kind of isolated or kind of blocked in the past even from this, and maybe you were getting very in your head with that Nine of Swords. You were having really high standards for yourself. You thought, I need to be perfect and all of those things. But as soon as you switch that energy around, it's like suddenly not only does your path become clear, but you just have all the more energy to move forward because you're not as bogged down. And it's like all these energies kind of lighten up, and suddenly you have the momentum because you're packing all this like love and joy, that you're just able to kind of move forward very naturally. It's a really good look on you, Sagittarius, and I'm really happy that you get to kind of embody this energy. So let's take a look at you here in the center of your reading with the Queen of Cups. You could have water placements, Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. Not necessarily. Leo can also be significant here, but you're very coming up in this like emotion, heart space, watery energy of the Queen of Cups, which is a beautiful energy to embody, especially when you do have a Sagittarius placement. So let's take a look at that Queen of Cups. Queen of Pentacles, Seven of Wands, the Star. What does this have to do with the Queen of Cups? Eight of Wands, the Wheel of Fortune, the Seven of Swords. This is interesting because I feel like you are trying to shift energies here, but it's almost like you don't need to or something. Like you may be trying to push something into place, but actually your energy itself is already moving things in the right direction. It's like there's this flow, but maybe you don't realize that there's a flow, or maybe it's just not materializing in real life. Like there's an energetic flow, there's a flow from your heart, but then it's like you're not able to see tangible results of what you're looking for, and so you think that something needs to change, or that something has to happen here, but actually everything's kind of happening as it's meant to, and it's actually coming from a very beautiful and light place within you. And then I see you almost like being dissatisfied with like the material results, or saying like, I need something more to like happen. Yeah, it's like you're wanting something to come towards you, or you're like waiting for a certain result or something, and the fact that it's not showing up, it comes through as like this huge like thing that weighs down on you, like this huge burden of why isn't this thing coming through. But you have a beautiful energy flowing, so I don't know why you need this thing to come through. Oh, it's like you feel like this drive with the chariot and the hierophant coming out. Like you very much feel like I need to accomplish something, or I'm on my way to accomplishing something. Something that would be really self-fulfilling or very fulfilling for you. You're like, I will feel fulfilled when I accomplish this thing, or like I have a purpose and I need to accomplish that purpose. And when I accomplish that purpose, that's when I'll be satisfied. And because you haven't seen like the material output of whatever that is, it's like you get stressed almost about, when is that going to come through, or when am I going to see the results of my actions? But there's actually a very strong energetic pull to you. It's a very magnetic pull with the sun and the Queen of Cups and the Knight of Wands. It's like you are charging forward and you are drawing this to you as you move forward on this path. So it's not necessarily going to be like, oh, one day I receive $800 for accomplishing something and then I've done it. It's much larger than that, and I keep hearing like the flow. It's almost like you're on like a river, and you're wanting to like dock your boat so that you can say that you made it down the river or something, but actually you're just meant to keep flowing down the river. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm getting kind of conceptual here, but you're not supposed to have a goal here necessarily, or it's not going to be something that shows up concretely. It's more about the energy that you receive and that you express, if that makes sense. All right, whatever. Let me stop babbling about energies like that and keep going with the reading. Let us take a look at the Sun card. It's almost like as you move forward here, the thing that propels you is your happiness. And so it's like the whole point is actually just for you to be happy and for you to enjoy going down the river. But then you get kind of stuck, like being like, and it's not even stuck. It's almost like maybe you just feel a blockage. Like, I don't think you're actually getting stuck on this river. I think you're just like maybe getting a little frustrated, or you're feeling like, ugh, like when am I gonna get like the harvest from this? But the whole point is just actually that you're enjoying yourself, and I see you actively enjoying yourself with whatever this is. So the message here is kind of about focusing on your joy to some extent. Let's take a look. What's making you so happy here with the Sun card? Page of Pentacles, Queen of Wands, Eight of Cups. You very much like set out on this journey or on this endeavor, whatever it is, and it just makes you happy to do it. And the happiness and the joy is it's not in the ending when you receive. It's actually in the beginning moments and the excitement of going off and starting this that is really making you happy. And when you start to look at, okay, when am I reaching the end, you actually start to get further away from the thing that makes you happy, which is that launching off point. And it's like you're like a rocket ship, and there's like this explosive, beautiful energy as you take off. And then you're like, okay, well, when am I going to reach the moon or whatever? And it's like, no, like you're just enjoying takeoff, so just take off, And I guess that's sort of the message here is just by doing this and just by experiencing the joy of this, you're actually loving yourself in a whole new way. And it's like through the joy, you come back to yourself and you feel special, or you feel unique, and you feel excited, and you feel the fullness of who you are in this experience. And that's kind of the energy that you want to be in, not getting all wrapped up in like, when is this going to shift, because you're looking for this shift and you don't need to, And anyway, I see you powering through and just kind of going ahead with this. And that's kind of the energy that you're in right now, of like you're in that charging ahead energy. You're not really near the end anyway. Like you're not near the product anyway, and that's okay. Like you're in the going for it sort of energy. And that's a great energy to be in. It's like a beautiful kind of fast-paced, exciting momentum. There may be a sense of like disappointment around like not being at the finish line yet, but again, just by like focusing on that, you start to distract yourself from where you actually are. So try to be present in this and like fully enjoy and like savor every moment of it, because that's what's going to help you recenter. For whatever reason, it might be stressing you out that like you haven't received sort of the end goal here. Like maybe you feel like you need it or something, but Spirit's request to you is that you just focus on what's going on for you like in the moment. Okay, let's take a look at the Knight of Wands, and then I'm running low on this deck, so I'm going to pull out another deck. Show me the Knight of Wands. Two of Pentacles, the Devil, the Knight of Cups. So Spirit's kind of saying you have an option here. You can either go towards those energies that you know stress you out. Like you know they stress you out when you start to be like, am I doing good enough? Am I going to achieve this? You can go towards that energy, or you can go towards that more heart-centered, light, Queen of Cups, Knight of Cups, open-hearted, happy, this is exciting, this is interesting, this is fulfilling me kind of energy. And so they want to kind of remind you, especially when you feel kind of overwhelmed, because with the Devil coming out to represent this, it could feel sometimes like the stress of it is much larger than you, or you can't detach from those stressful feelings. And Spirit wants to remind you that it's a choice. You can choose to enjoy yourself here, or you can choose to go into those stressful energies. And either way, you're going to go into those energies with a lot of gusto and a lot of heart and a lot of passion, because that's the energy that you're in right now, is that really passionate, forward-moving energy. So you want to be careful that you're taking that energy and moving it into a heart-centered direction rather than moving it in that sort of negative direction, which you do have power over. So just something to keep in mind. All right, let us move forward into the future energy, where I have the Empress, the Page of Wands, the Page of Pentacles. So with this energy, I'm seeing that you are going to achieve what it is you are hoping to achieve here. You're going to meet your own standards and possibly surpass them with the Empress. And that energy is very much coming in for you quickly with the Eight of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Show me the Empress, please. The Tower, the Page of Cups, the Fool. Oh, there's an energy that's going to come in and it's going to like free you up, or like something's going to happen and it's going to free you. It's going to like release some type of burden or some type of heavy energy. And it's going to be something that comes in to allow you to love yourself more with the Empress card here. It's going to be like very empowering, whatever this change is. It's interesting because usually the Tower represents like something crumbling down and it can be kind of negative, but this is actually going to be a hugely positive change, but it's going to come with something in your life kind of falling away. So it's like something gets taken away and that frees you up, which is interesting. And it's very positive. to you, it may seem like scary, or it may seem like, wow, my foundations are falling apart. But it's actually something that in the long term is gonna put you in a place of empowerment. The part of you that wants to be in control is going to feel very out of control. So if there's a part of you that clings to security or clings to feeling like you need to be in control of your surroundings in order to feel okay, this could feel very destabilizing for you. And it could kind of come up against that more masculine leaning energy within all of us that needs control. To feel like we can move forward, and it's gonna ask you to step more into your feminine energies with this Empress energy and this Queen of Cups energy and all of this Queen of Pentacles, all of that, that softer, a little bit more malleable energy of going with the flow, trusting, opening up your heart, understanding that you don't need to be in control. That's what this change is going to kind of challenge. And I want you to remember, when it feels like something is coming down in your life that feels overwhelming, try to see how it could free you up, because it's going to create a lot of space in your life. And you may not even see it that way, but Spirit wants you to know when this comes down, it's actually for your own good. Let's take a look at the Tower, the Hermit, the Star, the Queen of Swords. Again, it's gonna feel like something is being cut off from you with the Queen of Swords, but it's actually gonna help you step into your own power in like a really deep way with the Star and the Queen of Swords. It's gonna help you feel like, oh wow, like I can finally express myself. Or like for many of you, maybe you're part of this experience is expressing something about how you've healed, or teaching others about your experiences that you've healed from to help them heal. Maybe some of you are going to be a therapist or in the healing profession, some type of counselor or spiritual guide. Or maybe there's just some advice that you're meant to give other people, because the Empress is this very like maternal, sort of like protective energy of like, come, like let me help you, and I feel that in order for you to fully step into your abilities to go out and help other people, I'm getting goosebumps in my legs, so this is how you know it's real, people. In order for you to go out and help people in the way that only you can, and give your unique gifts to the world, something has to come down. So there could be some structure in your life that is holding you back from like fully expressing the depth of what you have to offer. And it's actually interesting because the Star is coming out here as like, it's almost like your words or your self-expression are like little stars that need to be put in the sky or something. Like just by speaking and just by expressing your truth and who you are on the inside, you are giving this like incredible gift to the world, and you're only able to give that to people because of all the healing work that you've done. And with the Hermit here, a lot of that has been a process that has been kind of lonely for you. It's maybe you've deeply healed yourself, and I see that you're a Sagittarius who is like very much in conversation with yourself. Like you have a dialogue with yourself that is very like empowering. Like you may feel like you know who you are, or you've worked hard to know who you are, and that's very precious. It comes through as like a shining gem within you that you can like pull out because it's been honed and honed and honed by all these different things that you've gone through in your life, and all the efforts that you've taken to heal and to grow and to kind of work away at that stone within yourself and kind of add that pressure and create a diamond. And so ultimately you have this gem inside you that now is meant to be shared with the world. And in order for it to be shared with the world, you kind of have to peel away those structures that have been keeping you from doing that, or that have been keeping you down. So for some of you, this could be like a restrictive job environment. It could be like family members who maybe don't see you entirely, or friends who haven't always resonated with you. There's something in your life that is sort of foundational, and very much in your material world, that kind of has to come down in order for you to fully move forward and offer your gifts to the world. Um, and as that thing comes down, it's going to feel very destabilizing and possibly even scary, because to you, that's a foundation that you've relied on for a long time. Um, and it may seem difficult at times to let go of whatever this is, but I'm actually seeing that it's a really important part of your path, and that part of your journey long term is going to be letting whatever this is kind of fall away. And then as soon as it falls away, it's gonna like give way to a rebirth for you with the Page of Wands and the Page of Pentacles, where you're not only going to step into a new version of yourself, but it's gonna allow you to create something and bring something into the world that couldn't have been brought into the world before this came down for you. So very powerful, very deep energy. Don't forget to like and subscribe if this is resonating for you, if you've made it this far in the video. Thanks so much. And yeah, let's take a look at the Page of Wands here. This is the little you that is going to be rebirthed after this thing comes down. The Hanged Man, the Queen of Cups, the Eight of Cups. It's like you have this entire shift in your energy where you go from like worrying and stress and being practical to very open-hearted and extremely loving, and moving forward from a place of that love and openness. And that is the version of you that then gets rebirthed into the world. Is like, it's like, you could say it's like death and rebirth, but I also see it as like a snake shedding its skin, and that skin that was on it before is it's hard, it's molting, it's scaly, it's crumbly, it's stiff, it's confining. And that skin gives way and eventually falls away to reveal this much softer, more sensitive side of yourself. And the more that you come from that place of sensitivity, the more you're met with love and joy and connection and abundance is really what I'm seeing. And you just sort of radiate this incredibly beautiful energy that not only brings you closer to what it is you're looking for in your life, but it also attracts that to you. So if you've been looking for some type of validation that you're on the right path, or that you can step more into this heart-centered energy, because for many of you it may be kind of scary to like leave behind the stability that has encased you in this structure. Like, it may be hard for you to leave behind that skin that's trying to molt away and go away, because it leaves you kind of vulnerable, and it leaves you very soft, and all of that, and that can be scary. But it's ultimately something that is for your higher good, and it's something that I think is going to bring in a lot of joy and peace for you. And you're going to kind of look back possibly years later and think, why was I ever stuck in that skin in the first place? Like, I feel so much happier being free from that in a way. And then, as soon as you step into that energy, it really starts to materialize in your life in a more tangible way. Let's take a look at that with the Page of Pentacles. Two of Wands, Five of Cups, Two of Pentacles. What does that have to do with the Page of Pentacles? Ten of Cups, Eight of Wands, Four of Wands. It's kind of a message from Spirit that you may feel disappointed if you're not seeing like results immediately, but you're on a longer path that stretches out further in front of you than you can even see. And the happiness and the stability that you're looking for, it's coming. But again, it's going to come the more you step into this next part of your life and just kind of trust. And so if you need validation that you are moving in the right direction and that everything's going to be okay, Spirit's saying everything's going to be just fine. You are going to have so much stability and care in your life, but again, it's going to stem from a much softer, more emotional place with that Ten of Cups than maybe you've experienced in the past. You may have experienced structures and like institutions that felt safe because they were larger than you and you could kind of find yourself within those structures, but they weren't maybe warm or flowing or abundant or caring or soft. And like you're going to move towards a type of stability that's very different than the confines of the type of stability that you had in the past. Like it's not going to be institutional and practical and dogmatic. It's going to be gentle and caring. And so it's going to be comforting and stable, but in a whole other way than what you've experienced. And you're actually only at the beginning of that path. So a lot to look forward to, really. And it's really amazing because this is an energy, Sagittarius, that you yourself have harnessed and you yourself are bringing into the world. And so it's very much along your own divine frequency, and it's very much something that has come from like the best parts of your own energy. So it's a very exciting, very like hopeful reading. Before we close out the reading, let's take a look at Spirit's advice to you and get 3 cards of advice from the universe. Right away we have the Seven of Swords, the High Priestess, and the Seven of Wands. The advice here is to trust your intuition. The advice is to not overthink, because your higher self is here with you. Your spirit guides are here with you every step of the way. And as soon as you start to overthink and get into those sort of spiraling energies of, am I going to be okay? And, and this experience that you're going through is going to test you because, like I said, a tower is going to fall down. Like something is going to shift in your life and it's going to feel scary and it's going to prompt those experiences of spiraling and of getting really in your head. And Spirit's advice is to try to step into your higher self, try to relax and reconnect with your intuition, and understand that there's a larger process and that when you begin to overthink, it disconnects you from your intuition. And so you want to try to recenter in whatever way you can. And it looks like you have experience with that in the past where you used to get anxious and then you kind of leveled out that energy, and you're going to be challenged to do that again and again and just kind of keep recentering and keep coming back to yourself and understanding that you are going to be okay even if things have to fall away in order for you to move to the next step. So that's what I have for you, Sagittarius. I hope that it helped. I hope that it resonated, and I'll see you next time. Bye.